Welcome to Wilhelm. I am your host, Ben Beck, and I am so excited to bring you this one. So as I promised, with this new season of the podcast coming, in addition to new top 5 episodes and new film reviews and product reviews and things like that, new ideas coming, I also promised you that I was going to be bringing you guys some panel audio from some panels I've been doing over the past year to year and a half. I've been holding on to these for a while, and I have a bunch of them that I'm going to be mixing in over the course of the new season and the top 5s and everything else that's going on with Wilhelm. And I'm excited to bring you guys this one. So this is actually one of the latest ones. I have some older stuff happening. I have the panel with Anson Mount and Chris Sarandon. And those are really interesting because they happened during the writers and actors strike, so they're a little different. And I can't wait to get you guys those ones too. But this one in particular goes back from earlier this year. This happened over the summer, and this happened at Contropolis, New Jersey. And this was my one-on-one panel with Ross Marquand. If you guys are not familiar with Ross Marquand, or even if you are, hopefully you are, especially if you're listening to this, Ross played Aaron in The Walking Dead. He was Red Skull in Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. He's the voice of Professor X in the new X-Men 97 cartoon series. He's done a ton of other work. He is an incredible impressionist, and I've met Ross a number of times over the past couple years and shows that I've worked. And I've even been on stage with Ross before, but never one-on-one. And being the massive fan of Ross's that I am, and longtime fan of Ross's that I am, I was really, really excited about this one-on-one opportunity I was finally getting with Ross. And it was really, really great because I learned a lot about Ross in this conversation, in this panel, or on this panel, that stuff that I never knew. And I don't want to spoil any of it for you. I want you guys to listen and hear it for yourself, because you'll hear my reactions to it when I'm learning about things I never even knew. So I want you guys to enjoy this one because I really enjoyed doing this one, and it's just a lot of fun. Ross is incredibly nice. He's incredibly great. If you ever go to a show and he is there, make sure you go to his table and you go and you talk to him because he is just amazing. With that said, before we go on to the panel audio, just a quick couple housekeeping things. Next episode, which you'll be hearing in about 2 weeks, I'm on my way to TerrorCon in Massachusetts next weekend, so I won't have the time to do the post-credit for the next episode, so I'm going to push it to about 2 weeks, and that is top 5 favorite Tom Hanks movies, which was a lot of fun and incredibly difficult. But when I return from Massachusetts, when I return from TerrorCon, not only will I have even more panel audio to share with you guys over the course of this season, I will be posting on social media the feedback portion so that you guys can let me know your top 5s and why they're in your top 5, and then I'll use them on the podcast when I record that when I get home. If you want to get ahead of it, though, you always can. The easiest way to do that is just send me an email directly. Send in an email or record yourself in a voicemail. Send it to me, feedback@wilhelmpodcast.com. You can get ahead of it before I even post the feedback section. But if you want to wait to the feedback section, you can post it in there as well. That'll be on both Instagram and Facebook, at Wilhelm Podcast on both. Or if you just want to find everything in one spot, including old episodes, where to subscribe, all of that fun stuff, where to send your friends to find out about the podcast, you can just go to welcometowilhelm.com or wilhelmpodcast.com. They both send you to the same spot. So, with that being said and all of that out of the way, I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to pass it on to the panel audio. So sit back, relax, and I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I enjoyed moderating this panel, this conversation with Ross Marquand. Enjoy.
All right. Great. Perfect. Yeah. Wonderful day here in New Jersey, eh? How about those? What?
I didn't say anything.
State bird, the mosquito, right? Am I right? Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I'm from Jersey, so I can fully accept the fact that we have a lot of mosquitoes. There's some swampy areas in New Jersey.
Really are. It's very, very humid here.
Yes.
I don't know what that's all about. Oh yeah.
Well, they're
The
everywhere.
body-
Because I currently live in Pennsylvania. We get the lanternflies over there too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're actually like so bad, like they tell you like kill them on sight.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You get those electric rackets. Yeah, those things are awesome.
Oh, I didn't even think about
Oh,
that.
those things are great.
Because I usually just stomp them out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can get them at Costco for like $15, but they got the electric zapper and also the shotgun with the
The salt
with the
shotgun.
salt-
Yeah.
that stuff is awesome. You know what I'm talking about? It's like these. Yeah, there's pump action salt shooter, and it's very effective. Yeah, so it's great. It's
I wonder
great,
how
yeah.
effective those like electric rackets are on annoying friends.
Oh, I bet that would probably work. Yeah.
Probably. So how you been? I mean, how's the weekend been treating you so far today?
It's been good. I apologize for being a little low energy. I just flew in from overseas, and I'm still very, very jet lagged. So I apologize in advance if I trail off or just like start looking at the ceiling for no reason. That's because of
Travel? You said you came from overseas working on a project or just like vacation?
I was doing a convention in Bulgaria last weekend, and then went to Croatia after that, and now I'm here. So,
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you're doing this. You're doing the full worldwide circuit.
Worldwide, yeah. So,
So we were just talking outside of there, and I worked another show with you a couple years ago in Atlanta, and you've been doing shows for a number of years. What is it like? Is it? I would assume it's a loaded question because the obvious answers should be the fans. But what is it that keeps you coming back to doing these shows?
I think. I mean, I've said it on a few panels before, but I think this was a world that I wanted to be a part of as a kid. Comic-Cons, and I could never afford them. My brothers and I were usually the ones wanting to go to the Star Trek and Star Wars conventions, and my parents were like, "Well, if you make enough money, you can go." And we're like, "Oh, cool. How much is the entrance fee? $50? Oh God!" So we just never.
That's just to get in the door.
That's just to get in the door. Yeah. So we never could afford to go as kids. So I was like, if I ever find a way later in life, I'm gonna. And I guess I had to get on a TV show first to do it, but it worked out. That was all my design. I don't really actually want to be an actor. I just wanted to go to Comic-Cons.
just go to. You wanted to be invited to Comic-Cons and not have to pay the entrance fee to
Exactly.
get in.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
So-
like I wanted to be on SNL because I like doing the jokes, but I actually didn't want to be on the show. I just wanted to like host it. Yeah. So
You haven't been there yet, right? Have you?
never been. I auditioned for SNL like 8 months before The Walking Dead, and I came close, but they went with 2 other folks that year. But that was my dream since I was a little kid.
Who were the other 2 folks that they went with? You remember?
They went with that year. I can picture their faces, but not their names. I can't remember.
Clearly stars on SNL.
No, yeah, they were on there for about a year.
Oh, okay.
And Noel Wells was one of them. Noel Wells, and I can't remember the other gentleman, but John something. John with an M, I believe was his name. But yeah, they were on for like a year. No.
John Mayer.
Not John Mayer, but God, I can't remember. But they were on there for like a season, and then they left the show. So
That's interesting because I never. Is that so? When you say you auditioned for SNL, that was something I never knew before. So, but I mean, was it purely because of the impression work that you did it, or did you want to actually get into like sketch comedy?
I did a lot of sketch comedy.
Oh, did you?
Before I did it in Denver, where I'm from, and in school as well. But that was always my dream to get on SNL. That's really the show that made me want to be a comedic actor. X-Men, the original X-Men, was the reason why I wanted to become an actor in general. But SNL was the show. I was like, that's what I want to do with my life.
I had I did. I made an attempt when I was younger at stand up, and it terrified me. So but yet here I am on stages at conventions. But I had done it, and that was a similar dream I had as well. I was like, oh, I want to be on SNL. And then I realized I talked to somebody who had auditioned for SNL, and they're like, you got to come with like 5 different characters. And like, characters? I just want to tell jokes.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I mean, they'll have a room full of people, and Lorne Michaels, who created the show, tells his staff not to laugh. So no one is allowed to laugh or give any kind of encouragement whatsoever. So you're just like doing your thing, and you're like, hey, okay, this is awkward because no one's giving you feedback. And I used to do stand up too, and so much of stand up is that immediate feedback. You feed off of the energy of the audience, and if they're giving you nothing, you're just like, oh my god, it makes you feel like you're the worst comedian ever. So
Have you ever, you saying that you've done stand-up before too, is that something you've ever wanted to maybe at some point go back to at some time?
I think about going to open mics again, but I think being on the road, like a lot of my friends are comedians and they just, they're on the road constantly. And I'm already on the road enough with conventions. So I feel like adding comedy to it as well would probably kill me. So I think I'm just gonna.
I still remember my first time ever doing it. I wasn't prepared for it. I had material written, and I went and I saw a friend of mine who was performing, and he said, "Well, I don't have an opener. Do you want to come out?" He's like, "You only got to do like 5 minutes." I'm like, "That's still asking a lot for somebody who's never done it before." Yeah. He's like, "Well, just think of it this way: if you bomb, you don't have to see these people ever again." Yeah. With the exception of the fact that a girl I was dating was also with me because we were on a date to see him.
Interesting.
And I remember going out there and just starting my bit, and my hand was like,
"Oh no!"
Until I got through the first joke, and I realized that the laugh was at the joke and not at me.
Cool. Then it was all good.
I was fine. Yeah, and I did like 3.5 minutes.
I did stand up out here about 8-9 years ago at the Lab. I want to say is in Manhattan. I think it was called the Lab, and that place was so supportive, and still, I hope it's still there. I think a lot of those places closed down post-COVID, but there's some great comedy out here in New York. So yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a ton up in New York. There's a couple places here in New Jersey that are some decent comedy clubs too.
Yeah. I've heard. I've never done a show in Jersey, but maybe tonight. Maybe tonight's the night. Hey, maybe right now.
We didn't tell you that's what this panel really is. It's Ross's stand-up. It's his return. At any point, if you guys do have questions for Ross, there is a microphone here. Please come on up to the microphone, and we'll get to those questions as we go through. Oh, okay. The little banter that we have. Obviously, I mean, I'm sure you've talked about it to death, but we got to talk about Aaron and The Walking Dead. What led you to that role? Like, what was the audition process going into that role? Was it because the show was already established at that point by the time you had gone into it? What was the audition process like going into that? And were you any kind of intimidation feeling because of how established the show was?
Yeah, I mean, I'd wanted to get on 3 shows in particular around that time. This was 2010 to 2014, around there. Sons of Anarchy, Mad Men, and Walking Dead, because I really loved all 3 of those shows, and it was a big consumer of all 3, but especially The Walking Dead. And I auditioned twice, didn't obviously get it because just didn't work out. One of those roles ended up being Gareth, the leader of the Terminus cannibal folks, and I'm kind of glad I didn't get that role because that was like 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And then he dies, of course, and I never would have had the stretch
longevity that you've had.
Yeah, and I also think Andrew West, who played that role, just knocked it out of the park, and I can't see anyone else playing that role, even myself, because he just did such a good job, which is one of the bad things about our show is that we introduce these great characters and almost kill them off instantaneously,
Usually before the season's over, they're already gone.
Yeah, like Alpha was that way for me, Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Alpha and Beta were 2 of my favorite villains of the show, and they didn't last as long as I think they should have, personally. But yeah, I auditioned for it 2 times, didn't work out. And the last time I had decided to give up acting. I was like, that's it, I'm done. And that was like 6 weeks before that audition came through. I hadn't had an audition for almost a year, and I thought my team had dropped me because I hadn't heard from them in so long. And they said, "No, it's just been slow, but we worked really hard to get you this, so please go." And I said, I kind of gave up acting, and I was going to move to New York to pursue photography and writing instead. And they were like, "Well,
you're a man of many talents."
Well, I don't know if master of none. Okay. Interested in many, but yeah. But they had to convince me to go because originally I was not going to go to the audition. I was like, I don't want another rejection under my belt before I do this new venture. And they luckily did convince me to go to it. But I'll be honest, it's the only audition I've ever done in my life. And forgive me for cursing, but I didn't give a shit whether I booked it or not. I really didn't care.
It might have played into getting the role then, because I mean, going into a role, an audition with that attitude, with that carefree attitude, you kind of release yourself of the pressure that you put yourself under to want to get that role so bad.
Yeah. And it's not that I didn't put in the work. I did still prepare for the audition, and I memorized the lines, and I came with a clear idea of who this character was. Did all the things I was supposed to do as an actor, but like with auditions or with trying to get someone that you like, that you've been pining over for months and months or years, the more you don't give a shit and just say, hey, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, that's where the universe rewards you. It's not from being like, oh God, I need this person in my life, or I need this job, and if I don't get that, I won't be happy. That the universe can smell that desperation, and they're like, oh, we don't like that. Like, the universe, or whatever you want to call it, is like, oh, he or she doesn't really seem to care about this, so let's give it to him. It's funny how life works like that.
Yeah, and if you set yourself up, you're right. If you go in there with that kind of like my mind blanked on the word, but you go in there,
with
wanting
desperation.
Desperation. Thank you. It was on the tip of my tongue, and I just couldn't get it out. But when you go in with that desperation, you're setting yourself up almost for failure, especially if you don't get the role.
Yeah.
Because then it's going to hurt even more the next time around. But going in not giving a shit, like you said, you've kind of already you've comforted yourself already, so that if you didn't get it, time to move on.
That's the key to life, everyone. Don't give a shit about anything. And that's the key. Yeah.
So you get the call then after the audition that you're getting the role. Like, I imagine, knowing now what you said about how you were just ready to give up acting, I imagine that had to be a huge relief.
Man, it was nuts, because I auditioned on August 15th, and on my birthday, August 22nd, 2014, I was sick as a dog with the stomach flu, like sick as a dog, puking, and just it was just really a mess. And sweating, and just like I was just laying in my bed. I was like, this is the worst birthday ever, And around 5:00 that night, my manager called me a week after, which usually in our industry, if you don't book it within the first few days, you're not going to get it. It's usually a pretty instantaneous decision. And she called me. I don't know why I'm doing this. That's not what my cell phone looks like. I'm like showing you my age, yeah. So anyway, I pick up the phone, and she's like, are you sitting down? I'm like, I'm lying down. What's going on? And she said, you booked this thing, and it's going to change your life. And I shot up out of bed, and I instantly felt better. I was
just about to make the joke of I'm healed, but yeah, it seemed like that was actually
quite literally.
Yeah.
The cold went away. I felt great, and I couldn't tell anybody. That was the only hard part about it. I couldn't tell anyone from August of 2014 until I think February of 2015, when my episodes first started to air. My parents were like, where are you? What are you doing? I'm like, I can't tell you. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't tell you. And so they thought I was like involved in drugs or something. Like, they were like, their son has joined a gang or something. But
he was ready to give up acting. We don't know where he is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. So, there you go. Exactly. Yeah. So they were all a little concerned, but it all worked out. So yeah.
So you go to filming, you start production with the set, and I know one of the things that's been pretty common, and it's come out, whether it be conversations on Talking Dead or other interviews, is how welcoming that Walking Dead family was. So I imagine they had to it was pretty much open arms when you started coming into play.
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah. Like the first person who I met was Rick, Andrew Lincoln, and he just goes, and he, most people know this, but he's British, and he never drops character the entire time he's there. So he comes up and he's like, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the family. I'm Rick. And I'm like, holy crap. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you totally are. And he gives me a big hug, and he's like, welcome to the family. I'm like, man, that's the craziest, because I was nervous as hell. I sweat through 3 different pairs of shirts on the flight from LA to Atlanta. I was very nervous. And he couldn't have been more welcoming. And then I met Eugene and Abraham, and they're still some of my best friends.
I've met Josh and Michael a number of times, and those two are a blast.
They are a blast.
They are a ton of fun.
Yeah.
How long did it take you before you started feeling like, obviously you got the open arms treatment when you walked on set, and they wanted to show you how welcoming they were. Was it instantaneous that you did feel that, or did it take a little time for you to feel like, okay, I'm part of this family now?
No, it was definitely not instantaneous. I mean, they were all very welcoming, but I was still very nervous about screwing up one of my favorite shows, because you don't want to be the weakest link, and you're like, oh God, I gotta show up and like really, you want to be Johnny on the spot. You want to have your lines memorized. You want to do a great job with your character choices. And it really took about 1.5 years, if I'm being honest, for me to really feel settled. And I think Abraham and Eugene had a big part in getting me to calm down, because I was so nervous about getting killed off or fired constantly on that show.
I don't know how everybody didn't feel that way on that show.
Because, you just never know. It's like The Sopranos. Like one episode someone's there, and then the next minute they're dead. You know? So
Or you're under a dumpster somewhere for a couple episodes.
Well, that's my boy Michael. Oh yeah, yeah. Poor the dumpster gate. I remember that caused a big kerfuffle. But I was in so much debt when I got this job. I had $120,000 of debt, and when you have that much debt in your life, it's all you can think about.
It's kind of soul crushing.
Yeah, and it's all encompassing. I mean, like I think your every thought is just like, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? And that first year, we weren't. I mean, you make very little money the first few years you're on the show. That's a fun fact that people don't really tell you, but like you don't really make that much money those first few years. And I just was like, as long as I get enough to pay off my debt, then I can quit acting, and then I'll just be on my way. I just wanted to get out of debt. That was the biggest thing. I was having a good time on the show, but I was just praying that I was like, just don't kill me off until like I've been on the show until I pay off my debt, So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Serious.
Yeah, get out. You got a little ledger book that you're just marking.
I literally
off
did.
Yeah.
I literally did. Yeah.
So when the show ended, it was a huge deal. So much so that like there were specials about it. I know like AMC, Talking Dead did like the huge celebration about it. Everything. What were your thoughts on the show ending? Do you feel like it had reached its peak? Do you feel like it could have continued on?
I feel like there's two schools of thought, because I think there were times where the show we were revisiting certain themes that I think had already been put to bed. But there were also several things in the comic book that I really wanted to dive into. And where we left things at the end of season 10 with the Whisperer War ending was we were hearing from the producers that this may go to season 14 or 15. They like, we have all this material from the comic books. Let's do it. They had no intention of canceling, but it was COVID that really screwed us because we were spending $1 million an episode extra just on COVID protocols. So COVID testing, PPE.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was like, what? It's been a while. Isn't that funny? That was like 3 years ago, and we just stopped talking about it. We're like, nope, that didn't happen. Let's move on. It's really wild that like really no one even talks about like the most insane time in our lives anymore, which is I suppose just wanting to get back to work, but. The budget was just the biggest issue. It was just too much money to produce that show, because $24 million for that last season just went to COVID testing and protocols. So obviously that's coming away from the budget for the cast and crew, the production value.
Special effects, everything.
Exactly. Yeah. And they just said, we just got to call a spade here. Like we got to have smaller pared down shows with fewer actors, which is why we have the spinoffs that have, 2 or 3 of the main actors and then a cast of newer, some unknown actors that maybe don't cost as much or whatever. It usually just comes out of the budget. So I never took it personally, but I was certainly bummed because I was hoping to play that guy for a lot longer. But
that was going to lead me to my next point too. Is like, have you ever like reached out to like Kirkman or anybody else behind the show, AMC, and be like, hey, I'm still waiting on my spinoff?
No, I mean, I think if the time comes and they offered a spinoff, I would love to do it. But I'm not ever going to pressure or try to put that out there, because if it's going to happen, that's they call the actors last. Usually, it's just like, we have this idea, we've run it down the test markets, and we've written it a million times from Sunday, and now we want to present it to the actors to see if they want to do it, and that's usually when we come in. But most of the time, we have very little control over that. So, but I would love to. I would love to play him again. Yeah,
just to return to the character in some way, or even if it's not your own spinoff, but maybe an appeance on one of the other spinoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pitching a spinoff because Daryl somehow made his way to France, so I'm like, because that can happen, I was like, well, why don't we have Aaron and Gracie and a few other characters go down to South America? Because it's landlocked, obviously. You could certainly it'd take like 20 days to get down there at least, but you could certainly find a way from Georgia on down into like Peru. And I thought it'd be really cool to have an episode or a series where like they're all fighting in like Incan ruins, and then you have like Incan warriors fighting, and it would just be like, oh, that'd be really cool.
That'd be kind of awesome, actually.
Right?
Yeah,
I think it'd be neat. One of the ideas, I don't know if I should say this, but I think it's who cares? I guess I'm saying anyway. But they were going to have zombie monkeys the last season of the show. And someone nixed it at the last second, but they were going to have zombie monkeys running amok on the last season of The Walking Dead. And zombie monkeys, yeah. And they... Yeah, I mean, which it didn't... Yeah, exactly. I mean, it didn't make a whole lot of sense because none of the animals could be infected in the previous seasons. So we were like, okay, I guess it's because their DNA is close enough to ours or something. They were going to find a way to, crowbar that idea in there, but they ended up not doing it because the CGI was going to be so absurdly expensive.
Well, knowing like Nicotero too, because I've met Greg a number of times too, and I know he's a huge Jaws fan. Like he restored the original
Zombie
Bruce.
sharks? Are we
Zombie
thinking zombie
sharks,
sharks?
yeah.
Ooh, that would be amazing.
I'm actually going to see Greg again in September, so I might have to make a mention of this.
Let's talk about zombie
Let's
sharks.
do some zombie sharks.
I'm sure if we pictured the guys who did Sharknado, they'd be down. They're like, yes, we'll do it. Let's do it right now. Yeah. Or Zombie Sharknado.
Ooh, I'm down for that.
The most terrifying horror movie, believe me, okay? Very scary.
No, I can't do it. Come on.
I'm so glad you actually went into an impression too, because I was actually about to shift gears into the impression side of things. That's a nice little transition. Because one of the things that you've been known for outside of The Walking Dead is the incredible impressions that you do. I've seen, like, was it Variety that did the micro impressions, or was that or Vanity Fair?
Vanity Fair, yeah.
I still laugh at that. Like the little micro. Has anybody seen the micro impressions Vanity Fair? They're absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
How did you discover that talent of it? Was it just something you practiced to develop, or did you kind of have it already and you discovered it?
Oh, no. I mean, especially before I went through puberty, there was no way I could ever emulate someone with any degree of accuracy. Like my first ever impression was Johnny Carson, because money was very tight for my family growing up, and I realized that my parents fought. It was always fighting about money. It was always like a lot of families. I think money is always a huge factor, and the only show that seemed to take them out of themselves and get them to just laugh and calm down a bit was The Tonight Show. And as a 6-year-old boy, I was like, ooh, maybe if I'm like Johnny, then the family won't fight as much. And it was, the youngest of the family is always trying to fix the vibe of the family unit. And that's where it came from.
It's kind of endearing and heartwarming now to know that, like, that's what got you into impressions, was kind of like something to maybe even kind of like rescue the family.
Well,
not rescue in
it
the
was
sense
also
of like,
self-preservation, because if my parents fought, my brothers were also angry and violent, and so they used to beat the shit out of me. So it was like really just self-preservation. It's like, if I can make my brothers laugh, they won't beat me up as much.
They won't beat you up as much as they usually do.
Exactly, yeah. That's where it came from. I mean, honestly, yeah.
So what's the process then when you start to develop an impression? Like, is it literally just sitting in front of a mirror and practicing it?
I don't do the mirror as much. I mostly just watch a person over and over again, and really kind of just study their facial movement. I feel like all humans are essentially just really unique woodwind instruments, and depending on how you hold your body, a different sound's going to come out. Like, for example, like James Gandolfini, Jersey native, I think. He's a Jersey
Sopranos,
boy.
yeah.
Yeah, Jersey boy.
I think he's Jersey boy, yeah.
Yeah. And, he used to sit forward. He talked through his nose, but he would sit forward on his throat. You never saw him with perfect posture like this. He was always a bit like this. He'd sit forward. He'd be like, hey, what are you doing here? I'll break your legs. Come here. How you sit on your voice and your throat will change the sound that comes out of it. And I need to see a person's face if I'm going to get their voice right, Yeah.
Is there anybody that you have, I would have to imagine you've done impressions of the people for the people. Have there been any that haven't gone so well?
Sure, yeah. I don't do that anymore. I did Norman Reedus for Norman on set because Melissa McBride kept pushing me to do it, because she had heard me do it one-on-one, and I was like, this is a bad idea. Like, I was like, telling you right now, everyone always wants to hear an impression of themselves until you actually do it for them, and then they're like, I don't sound like that, and I did Norman, and he was like, huh, all right. And then he's like, now do Daryl. And I was like, what? And I'm like, so I did Daryl. And then he's like, now do Norman talking to Daryl. I was like, this is so meta and so weird. I'm like, I gotta. And as soon as it was over, I remember Denise Huth, who one of our executive producers, she came over to me and tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "It's been nice knowing you." And I was like, "Oh, great." So I was like, "I'm gonna get killed off." Oh, shit. No, but I also did my Larry David impression for Larry David, and that didn't go over well either. So yeah, I just did as a general rule. I don't
do the impressions for the people you're doing the impressions of anymore.
Exactly.
Because I would have to imagine you're right. Nobody wants to hear an impression of themselves, or everybody wants to hear the impression of themselves until they hear the impression of themselves.
Yeah,
it doesn't just go for voice either. I remember, this was going back a number of years where I bet people to dress up like me for Halloween as a dare, and then when I saw them do it, I was like, I don't ever want to do this again because I just don't want to be a part of this anymore. So
they're poking fun at you in a gentle way, but then you're like, wait, do I wear those shocks too? I was like, yeah.
I don't wear shirts like that. Mom, I'm wearing a shirt
I'm
like
doing
that
it right now. Yeah.
Because so like I said, like the Vanity Fair impressions. I know you did Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy made you do like the Oscar speeches with the impressions. What's it been like, finding ever since The Walking Dead and joining Marvel, finding the notoriety where you're actually getting invited to be? What's it like to be invited like on all those like night shows and such?
Oh man, I mean. That's the Kimmel thing. I still that was like an out of body experience because that was and still is the biggest talk show I've ever done. And Jimmy was great. He was super easy to talk to and friendly. But if I'm being totally honest, I don't remember getting there. I don't remember doing the interview. I don't remember a damn thing about it. Like I watch footage of it sometimes, and I'm like, God, I do not remember being there at all. It was just one of those moments where you're so full of anxiety and stress because. It's basically live TV. It's got a little bit of a delay, but if you screw up, you're screwed.
It could have just been somebody doing a really good impression of Ross Marquand on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Have you ever run into anybody who does an impression of you?
Oh no, that'd be weird. But it's funny because even today, 3 different people were like, "Are you from Britain? Are you from Australia?" And I'm like, "Do I sound like that?" I think I've been doing impressions for so long, I don't know what my real voice even sounds like anymore. Because I'm from Colorado. Like I'm. Like the most regionally non-specific accent in the country. Like people send news reporters to Colorado so they'll lose their accents.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they'll literally. There's one of the best journalism schools is in Colorado, and they just send them there for a year to lose their accent because Coloradans have the most boring, nondescript accents in the country, and that's where they get sent to. So whenever
there's nobody from Colorado in the room, right?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Right here.
Oh, you're from Colorado, so you have every right to say what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love Colorado, but it's just not a voice that I consider unique. It's just very like mid range. So I don't even. I think I just have a very monotone, kind of even keeled voice for the most part.
Do you have any impressions that are kind of like on the stove right now that you're workshopping?
Well. I finally cracked my Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges was on my list for a long time, and I finally got that. But Ryan Gosling and Leonardo DiCaprio, I've been trying for years, and I cannot get them. They're my white whales. They're my Moby Dick. I'm like, if I could ever get their voices down, I'd be happier than a pig in shit. But that's an old Colorado phrase. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
we don't hear pig and shit too often here in New Jersey.
Yeah, sorry, that's a Colorado thing, and I live in Jersey too. So yeah. Or no, Georgia. What am I saying? Why is it? I think what it is, especially with Gosling. Gosling's a Canadian, but he does this like weird faux New York accent half the time, and DiCaprio, same deal, where it's like this strange like hybrid of L.A. and New York, and I just can never get it. I've tried so many times, but I can never get their voices. So
when you mentioned like how he has like that faux, accent from somewhere else, it makes me think of Franco, because I think James Franco is the same way. His accent is nothing compared to where he's actually from.
I did finally crack Rami Malek recently too, and I realized that Rami, when he's speaking, he does this sort of like it's almost like he's got a stuffed nose or something. He's like, I'm going to hack into the mainframe, and it's the strangest. I got to work on it some more, but I feel like I'm getting there. So if they ever do a Mr. Robot season 5, I'm good to go. Yeah.
Or they do another Queen movie where you. You can jump in.
He was great.
He was great as Freddie Mercury. Yeah. Like almost unrecognizable as Remy, and just completely.
You know who was
Freddie
originally
Mercury.
supposed to play him, right?
No.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I can't see that.
He
at
was
all.
like for you. Well, because I think, because he would been
Which I
working
could
up for a
see
while.
it.
Yeah, I think he would do a great job. But I think, Rami.
And he's got the musical background too, like so he could definitely do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but kind of transitioning again from impressions, but moving on to staying on that note and moving on to Marvel. We saw you take over the role that Hugo Weaving had as Red Skull. What was it like getting that phone call to be brought into the Marvel universe?
That was the funny thing is like they had me audition for a German Hugo Weaving voice match, which of course ended up being the clip from Captain America: First Avenger. But they didn't tell me what the project was. It was what the hell was it called? It was called like Mary Lou, I think was what it's called. The code name for Avengers: Infinity War Endgame. So it's like code name Mary Lou. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And so I sent it in, didn't hear anything for like a month. And usually, again, if you don't hear anything right away, you didn't book it. And we had just finished filming season 7 of The Walking Dead. I flew back from Atlanta to LA. I was in my taxi home, and then got the call. And she's like, "You booked?" My manager said, "You booked this thing." I was like, "Oh, cool. What is that? When is it? When is this?" And she's like, "Oh, well, it's shooting tomorrow in Atlanta. You're still there, right?" I'm like, "Oh shit! I just left there, and I just got." She's like, "Go back." So I took the next flight out. I took a red eye. Didn't sleep at all on the plane. Just looked at the materials, and it didn't even say Stonekeeper. It was like all coded names and everything. I just said, "I don't know what the hell this is, but I'll do my best," And I got to set, and there's like 150 people waiting for me. I'm like, "What in the hell is this?" Like, I thought it was a voiceover job, And they had me shave my beard, and they put me in the motion capture suit. And I'm like, "What is going on here?" And that's when the guy putting the dots on my face for the head camera. Because they basically just need to be able to like have a clean slate to work off of, and the beard would interfere with that. And he kind of stopped for a second. He's like, "You don't know what we're working on, do you?" He's like, "They didn't tell me shit." He's like, "This is the new Avengers movie." I was like, "Oh, Jesus!" And it's like ran to the bathroom as soon as I could and just did like dry heaving. I was like, "Oh God," because I've been a dream since X-Men, since I watched X-Men the animated series as a kid to work in that world. That was my dream, and now I'm getting a chance to do it. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So yeah, it's funny how I never thought the impressions would lead to more gigs like that, or gigs that like an X-Men with Red Skull with Ultron. Like, never thought in a million years that would be the trajectory. Because you just think impressions are good for stand-up comedy or sketch. You never think it will translate to anything like Marvel. It's wild. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not much, but yeah. So,
I mean, you talk about being a huge fan of the original X-Men, the X-Men animated series, which made you want to get into Marvel. But now you are actually in the X-Men animated series. For anybody who doesn't know, Ross is the new voice of Professor X. You're Professor Xavier. What's that like? You are literally living the dream that you had as a kid. You are part of something that got you into the entertainment industry.
The first episode of The Walking Dead when Rick wakes up, in the coma, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And a lot of people theorize that was everything that happened after that was just a dream, And wouldn't it be funny if the finale was just him waking up and be like, "Oh God, it was all a dream,"
The Bob Newhart treatment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which I still think would be a funny way to end the show if they ever wanted to do that. But I still think that. I still think that at one point I'm going to wake up in some insane asylum and be like, "Oh, buddy, you didn't have your medicine." I'm like, "Oh, God, this has all been a dream?" I'm like, holy crap. So, you never think as a kid or that you're going to get to actually work in the worlds that you were just so much in love with as a kid. Like Star Wars and Star Trek and Marvel that was my jam, and Looney Tunes and Tiny Toons and Darkwing Duck. I mean, that was what I grew up with, and you just never assume that that's actually going to come to reality, come to fruition. I mean, and I'm just again happier than a pig in shit to be a part of it. So
I want to open it back up to questions. If anybody does have any questions for Ross, please feel free to step up to the microphone. Yeah, it's purely just so we can capture the audio of it. Yeah.
I have 2 questions. Do you like applesauce?
I love applesauce.
All right,
I don't know anyone who doesn't love applesauce.
I had met Tom a couple times, and he was
Tom Payne.
Yeah,
yes,
he was super excited about the potential story you guys were supposed to have. He was like, "Yeah, they're going to follow it to the comic." They told me, And then they dropped him. They dropped.
They told him that.
That's what they had told him. And
Interesting.
I was just wondering, do you know why they didn't? Because there were same-sex relationships on
Yeah.
it, but see, when it came to the two of you, it was dropped. He was killed off, and was it fans that were like homophobic, saying no, that's gross?
It very well could have been that. I mean, unfortunately, the response to Aaron and Eric initially was not very positive. I hate to say, so it could have been that, I suppose. But I think also they just had a very clear arc that they were trying to tell that season 9, and part of it led into the Whisperer War, and they really wanted to, I think, offer Jesus up as a sacrifice, which is very biblical, I suppose. Yeah,
that sucked because he was great.
Yeah, I mean, but I will say, Tom and I, once we found out that they weren't going to be exploring that, because in the comics, they are a badass duo, and they're the ones that take down Beta in the comics, and it was a great sequence, and it was we were really looking forward to that. But even if they weren't going to explore it on the actual show, on the screen, Tom and I decided to work out a bit of a backstory for that 6-year time jump. So we decided that we did have a relationship. Even though it didn't work out, we decided that was important for our characterizations. And I think it shows on screen. When you see that, especially that great fighting sequence where Jesus is kind of trying to help Aaron, with some martial arts moves, you can tell that there's a history there. And I think that only makes the characters more interesting and that characterization more evolved,
All right, so it happened. We just didn't see it.
Exactly. We decided it was important that it happen, even if they weren't going to show it on screen. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Great question. Yeah. Love the outfit, by the way. Yeah.
Thanks. I'm a cat girl maid, and I'm a proud one.
Oh, nice.
So I want to know, what's your thoughts on? Now I know this is a bit old, but what's your thoughts on Negan in Tekken 7?
Tekken 7?
The fighting game.
Oh, I didn't even know Negan was brought
he's
in
in
Tekken
that?
7.
Yeah, he's a DLC character.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was a few years back. So Negan was a guest character in the 7th game.
Oh.
And I remember seeing it. I was like, they really put him in the game.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
this is news to me.
Yeah.
Was he a good fighter?
Actually, he got some good combos.
Oh, cool.
And he have his iconic barbed wire bat.
He had Lucille?
Of
nice.
course.
That's awesome.
And there's actually a stage based off of this of the hideout.
Oh, wow. Okay, so do you get a phone call? Yeah. Okay, I say you can answer it. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, always go. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Nice to meet you too. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Well, I'll answer that question, I guess, best I can. I didn't know about that, but I am excited about Mortal Kombat having Homelander in it.
Yeah.
I just think Homelander is one of the most devious bastards in New York City. Homelander is just one of the coolest villains in TV today, I think.
And that show, man, it just gets...
Yeah, who was watching The Boys? Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
It gets, like, anytime you think they can't go any further, just wait till the next episode and they take it a step further.
I don't know. That Ant-Man scene was insane.
Oh, yeah. Herogasm. Yeah. I was talking about it earlier. Yeah.
That wasn't my question either.
Yeah.
So you mentioned watching celebrities and how their posture lends you to their impression. What about with Charles Xavier, where it's a voice? Is it just from hearing it most of your life, being a fan, and just knowing the voice from that?
Yeah, it's funny when they sent the audition. I auditioned for Magneto and for Charles Xavier, and I don't know. This is gonna sound cocky, but I was like, I got this. Like I was just like, it's already so ingrained in my head. I've seen this show so many times that I did a whole audition before even listening to the reference, because I was like, it's already up here. And there were a few things I had to tweak here and there, but I got to say, like, some voices just stay with you, you know? And I think, like, Darkwing Duck from childhood, even though I can't produce that voice, Jim Cummings, who does Darkwing, is freaking phenomenal. And, you know, I'll never be to his caliber. I think he's just one of the best voice actors in the world. But, like, there's some voices that you can just completely picture in your head, if that makes sense.
Yes, and it's right there.
Yeah, it's just in there. And I think even though there's no physical reference, because obviously we never saw Cedric do it on camera, it just was up there, you know. And I love getting a chance to play that guy because he's just, you know, he's one of the best mutants out there. Yeah, one of the best cute characters. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I know we're coming to the end of our time, but
gotcha.
we still have like 2 minutes left. So come on up.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite sequence from '97, whether it be it when you were in or one you just like watching as a fan?
Ooh, okay. So I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but X-Men '97 has got some amazing episodes and sequences. But I think, if I'm being honest, like episode 5 with Genosha, I mean, that's just one of the most heartbreaking episodes of TV I think I've ever seen in my life. It's so well written, it's so well animated. And I really do think that is the show that I'm most proud of currently. I just think everybody who works on that show was a fan of the original, and it shows, you know, because no one wants to let the inner fan in themselves or the new fans down. They want to make sure that we're all operating on our best cylinders and producing the best content imaginable.
That's the Gambit episode.
Yes, but
I'm leaving it at that just to not spoil anything. That episode left me like drop jaw by the end of that.
Plus, they got Ace of Base in it. I mean, anytime you feature Ace of Base, you know it's a good episode. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So you've done The Walking Dead. You've done Marvel. What's next on the wish list for you to do?
I mean,
IP?
I've played Han Solo a few times in the Star Wars universe for animated stuff and Lego Star Wars and a Lego Star Wars video game, but I would really love to play a new Star Wars character. There's a character named Revan from the I heard an ooh. Nice. Yeah. I mean, he's half Jedi, half Sith before that was even really considered a thing, and he just seems like a very complex character that I would love to play him. So also, anytime you get to play a villain, that's just so much more fun. I think most actors will tell you, like, villains are just more fun to play. I mean, they have more of a interesting character arc, and it's just interesting, you know?
Yeah. Anything coming up that we can keep an eye on for you?
Yeah, a lot of these things I can't talk about because of course, NDAs, but X-Men '97, we're almost done recording season 2.
And I think season 3 already got picked up, right?
Yep, season 3. And so we're going to start working on season 3 soon, and Invincible season 3, I think we're almost done recording that. Megamind is now out on Peacock.
Yeah.
So I play Music Man. I play Brad Pitt's character. What the hell is it? I play Metro Man. Sorry. So I play Metro Man, and then Disney Speedstorm. I play Wreck-It Ralph in that. So it's a pretty fun game. It's like you play like Mario Kart, but for Disney characters, and it's really cool. I'm gonna wreck it. Yeah.
I can't think of a better way to end the panel than with that. Ladies and gentlemen, how about one more huge round of applause for Ross?
Thanks, guys.
If you haven't already, make sure you go to his table and say hi. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.